All right, I am so excited to be taking this out of the box. And this is what we have. We have 3 pieces in here. This is vote box number 3 for the year 2025, and I believe it's the final one. And a vote box is where some but not all advisors get the opportunity to have some input into future Creative Memories products. They send us a sample and ask our opinion about it. Well, boy, did they get my number this time. I was wondering when they might do something like this with a hopeful thing. So we have a dual tip die cutting tool. So we'll see what that's about soon. The 12-inch cut and embossing set. And of course, oh, look at this little carrying case. I love that. Okay, let's pull it out. Oh, we open up with a set of dies. Oh, I'm going to love working with these. Oh, okay. Instructions are right here on the back as to how to stack the plates. Looks like they are numbered. And a base plate paper, the die, and the top plate. Or embossing plate, embossing folder, paper, and the top plate. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, here she is. Okay, so I have at the small level 3 plates. We have 3 plates here. The cutting plate, the embossing plate, and the top plate. So this is my cutting plate. It is a bit thicker than the top plate. So if you were to put them together, you'll see this is thicker than this. And last but not least, here's our machine. Okay, and I'm going to turn it here because I'm a right-handed person. So I would crank from the right. So here is this so adorable mini cutting system by Creative Memories. It looks like when you open this fully, you will, these little feet keep it stable, but they don't seem to keep it level. This seems level to me, so that's something I'm going to have to learn. And maybe it's not meant to be level. Definitely have to try a few things with it. But the big question is, how does this lovely device compare to the one I already have? This is my Spellbinders Scout, which I adore. And so now, my little Creative Memories die cutter. What do I think of these 2 machines? And do I have a favorite? So let me compare. Come along with me as I compare. So first of all, I'm comparing the size. Clearly the Creative Memories machine is smaller than the Spellbinders machine. But to me, they feel like they weigh almost the same. Creative Memories is a little lighter than Spellbinders. Okay. Then the Spellbinders machine comes with platform base, which is much, much thicker than the platform base of the Creative Memories machine. So here's our platform base on this machine, platform base for Creative Memories. As you can see, the size is a lot different. Now, what this means is this thick plate means that I can use brands of dies that are thicker than I can use here. And so we will see what brands of dies I will be able to use with the Creative Memories ones. Um, Clearly, obviously, the very thin dies like these will work, but I have other slightly thicker dies, which I know work here. I even have a note to myself as to what size, what the sandwich is for the Spellbinders to use those thicker dies. Both have a platform top. This is the one for Spellbinders. This is the one for Creative Memories. And the one for Spellbinders is thinner than the one for Creative Memories. So Creative Memories platform top is thicker than Spellbinders. Compare cutting plate and cutting plate right now. The cutting plate for the Spellbinders is not as thick as the cutting plate for Creative Memories. So the Creative Memories cutting plate is thicker. Also note the width. The Spellbinders is wider, which means I could not put a Spellbinders plate into the Creative Memories machine. I don't think. Nope. So this will definitely not go in here. And I'm not going to try to put my Creative Memories into my Spellbinders. I have no reason. But that also means that the secret weapon I have on my Spellbinders machine is the magic mat. This I use on my Spellbinders and also my larger manual die cutting machine to cut against, because it is more economical and I get more cuts on the magic mat than I do on my actual cutting plate. So I substitute cutting a die with the cutting plate. So my sandwich actually does look like this. I put my platform base, then I put my magic mat, then my paper, then my die, and then this cutting plate as my top plate. And the reason I use the cutting plate is because of the thickness differences. Using this top plate is too thin. So my sandwich here this becomes about this size. So my sandwich for the Spellbinders Scout is the platform base, the magic mat, the paper, the die, and the top plate. I don't use this top plate unless I'm using the thicker dies. I use this when I'm using the brands of dies that are a little thicker, and one of the ones that comes to mind right away are the Cuttlebug dies. They are thicker, but thinner dies like the Quick Cuts brands, I can use this sandwich along with Spellbinders brand dies, Coco and Reno dies. And I'm sure these Creative Memories dies are going to work over here just as fine. Now, there are some hacks that can preserve your cutting plates. Right now, I do not have any spare cutting plates for the Creative Memories machine. When the machine launches next year in 2026, you will be able to buy the additional cutting plates separately, or of course, you'd be advised to buy the machine in a bundle that will come with cutting plates and some dies, something similar to what we just unboxed. Then you can buy extra cutting plates. And I know me and what type of die cutter I am. When I bought this machine, I bought spare magic mats at the same time because I knew how much this machine would get used. And I see myself wanting to use this machine every bit as much as I use this one. And right now, my assessment is, before we use either machine, my assessment is this machine and this machine are on equal playing fields, um, with a few exceptions. This one will be able to use a greater variety of types of dies, but that's okay. This machine I like for traveling because it is just smaller and more compact and will fit better in my traveling scrapbooking case. Next, we have this 12-inch die cut embossing set. So here is something that Creative Memories has that nobody else has, and that is giving you a full 12-inch die. So they plan to sell dies that are fully 12 inches long. Right now, the long dies from other companies don't measure in at a complete 12 inches long. Here's my 12-inch ruler, and here's this die. And yes, this die is coming in at 12 inches on the nose. Let's see if we can, you can see where that 12-inch line is right there. This is a full 12 inches. And I can pull out some of my other company brand dies. They don't go the full 12 inches. Now, there is a very important note about this. The cutting plates are also exactly 12 inches. Let me find them. Which means that the die will have to rest on the cutting plate at an angle, but you will be able to get your full 12 inches out of it. So I'm not pulling this all the way out, but you will get your full 12 inches just like you do with a border punch by putting it at an angle on the plate. I'll be using this before too long, and I plan to videotape it. So also with this kit comes 2 embossing folders that are also a full 12 inches long. And you know, I don't have any brand of embossing folders that are 12 inches long. So I'm going to have myself a world of fun with this. Okay. I did hear directly from a company representative's mouth that among coming products will be alphas. No more running out of letter E's. One of the number one reasons that I take a die cutting machine with me to crops is to cut my titles and words and alphas. Also noted that Creative Memory said the one reason that they chose to offer this product as opposed to their fantastic and beautiful punches is because punches don't cut words very well. But you can get dies to cut such beautiful words. And personally, I have a collection of words. I love cutting my words, and this is now motivating me to expand my collection of word dies. One more thing that a machine like this does is to really help you use your smaller scraps. Having a machine like this, cutting smaller elements like this, is much easier with a die cutting machine than it is with a punch. You don't have to try to position and orient the paper in there. So it says put the cutting plate on first, then the paper. Now, if you are new to using these types of die cutting machines, one of the things you'll learn will be that the thickness of paper can matter, and if sometimes you might want to put extra thickness to get the cut to go through the way you want it to. And in those situations, I recommend you play around. I thought this die would be a little bit big. This is hard to see. So for right now, I think this will help you see better. Okay, so all right. Okay, our sandwich goes. We put our C cutting plate down first. Then we'll put our paper. Now, cutting plate means just that. It means that we're going to cut on the plate. It's the one that we put the sharp side of our die on. So we want to make sure, and believe me, I've made this mistake over and over again. We want to make sure that we put the sharp end of our die on our paper, on the side of the paper we want to be cut. Okay, so you can see right here. So this is how we begin with our C plate, our paper, and then the die. And now we form a sandwich by putting the T plate on the top. Our first layer is our C plate. The second layer is our paper. The next layer is our die. Notice that I can now tell if my paper is big enough for the die. It just barely fits, but it does fit. And then last but not least, the top plate. And we put this together to make a little sandwich. Now, okay, nope, my die shifted a bit. I'm going to correct that and pull out my favorite product, washi tape, for this use. But here's something super exciting. Creative Memories has also announced there will also be some low-tech tape. I'm not sure the name they're going to call it, but they will be bringing that out and as a Creative Memories product. And the reason I'm so excited about it is because I know when it comes from Creative Memories that it's going to be safe. But for now, I'm going to use my Creative Memories washi tape. So here we go. I'm going to put, see, this is the sharp end of my die. So I'm turning it and putting the sharp end on my paper. And now to hold it in place, I'm going to use a touch of washi tape just to keep it from sliding, because if it slides, then it'll fall off the paper because it's barely fitting on there. And when it falls off the paper, if my die were to fall over, then I won't get the full cut and it will be imperfect. So now we add the top plate. Now, Does this have to be a perfect alignment? No. Here are two things that are important. This is just my first time using it, so I have aligned these. Here are a couple of tips to help you get the most longevity out of your cutting plate. Tip number one, use the cutting plate on both sides. So I'm using it face up on this very first cut. On my next cut, I'm going to cut against the back side. Try as often as you can to rotate which side you cut against to cut evenly. And try to cut in different positions around the plate, even over the name. So the more you stretch out where you cut against the plate, the longer you can help the plate to last. We're about to make our very first cut. Okay, let's roll it through and see what happens. We want to hold on to the top. When the die is hitting the inner rollers, you're going to feel some resistance, so you just keep turning. There is our very first cut. This is the cut impression into our plate. So now it's there forever. And here is our beautiful die cut camera. Isn't that pretty? That is gorgeous. I love it, love it, love it. This die cutting tool is the only part I haven't opened yet. So we have this dull, nice little round tip here, and this flat, rubbery, flexible tip here. Let's see if we can see that. And it's flexible. And this will help get those intricate little pieces out of our dies. And I think this is a fantastic little tool. I love it. So what do I think about these two fantastic machines? Which one do I like better? And which one is going to get to go on more trips with me? So the Creative Memories machine is more compact to travel with because both the machine is smaller and the plates are smaller. The Spellbinders machine takes up a little bit more room, but it also is more capable because it will accommodate a larger selection of different brands of dies. So it has its advantages over this machine. But I must say, I rarely use anything other than the thin dies. So if you ask me which machine is more likely to go with me on a trip, I'm going to say this is the winner because it is more compact and will handle most of what I need. So I believe that the final result for me is that my Spellbinders machine is going to get a home right on my craft table and will get more love at home. And my Creative Memories die cutting machine is going to be the one that goes with me out and about because it will suit most of my needs while I'm traveling. If I need to use one of the very few brands of dies that don't fit in my Creative Memories machine, I will just die cut it at home or before I leave because, as you know, I build kits and I'll just make a note if I want to use something that doesn't fit to cut it before I travel. And this baby is going to be going with me on the road. On a side note, I don't know how long these will remain in stock. I think they're going to sell pretty quickly, even though they are pricey. when they are released in 2026, they will be at a different price point from what the vote box was. And I think that's because what comes in the bundle will also be different. What we were told is that that price point will be less than what it is right now. So you can use that information to make purchasing decisions. So thank you so much for sharing this little journey with me. It is super exciting, and I look forward to sharing more of what this machine will do.